Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sorting Hat Podcast, the show where everything and anything can and will be sorted. I, as always, am your host, Michael Barryte, joined by my co-host, Reed Brice.
That was pretty good. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about this. Would you mind if I just tried one more kind? Like, maybe a tropical version?
Okay, would you like this mango?
Yeah, mango intro. Give me a mango intro real quick.
Oh, great. The basic conceit of our show
I guess I'm not getting
is
it.
that...
I guess I'm not getting a mango-flavored intro.
We have these bits that go on too long at the start before we introduce our guest who's an expert or a fan of a certain topic, and then we're going to then be sorting things within that topic into the various houses of Hogwarts. Today, we are joined by Katie Molinaro. Katie, for those unfamiliar, is a... recurring character on the recently canceled Nickelodeon show.
Why did you have to say recently canceled?
Because that was the thing that we were last talking about right before we started recording, so it's the first thing that's in my brain.
Remember how you're unemployed now?
They all get canceled.
That
Nikki,
should be the first thing we tell people.
Dickie, and Dawn.
Yep.
You also have an Instagram, Ice Cream for Therapy.
Yes, that I have not updated recently because I feel like maybe I'm doing better with my life. And then all of a sudden I'll probably be posting it today.
I really enjoy your ice cream Instagram, so I'm going to probably find ways to like subconsciously make your life miserable again. So I can get those updates.
I thought you were just going to suggest, hey, Katie, why don't we go get ice cream someplace and be a friend?
I want to induce depression. Yeah, a depressive episode.
Yeah.
Like I'm like Ingrid Goes West, but with ice cream. Yeah.
Now, just as far as before we get into, I guess your fixation with ice cream and exploring that a little bit more, it's worth noting as far as sorting bias goes. I am a Ravenclaw. Reed is a Hufflepuff. We didn't ask you off mic. What
she's
house?
a Slytherin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Like, that's bad, right?
Oh, yeah. Well,
no, it's
not bad, but you definitely have the more wily angle to you. And right now, it's worth noting that Katie is like really arching the eyebrows and like tilting her head forward just a touch.
Because you know a Slytherin don't really want to be there. You know a Slytherin just want to leave.
Gotcha.
They're just ready to skip school. They're gonna skip wizard school.
Or like if you, I'm trying to think of like who a good like celebrity Slytherin who's like not bad, but like who a good representation would be. Like maybe Elon Musk is a Slytherin.
Maybe. I mean, I know that Steve Jobs is a Slytherin.
Oh, for sure. I don't necessarily want to be compared to Steve Jobs, though.
But moving on to ice cream, which is the topic at hand, or more specifically, ice cream places.
Very important.
Katie,
yes.
How did you come about to sort of be as fixated on ice cream as you were? This is like, normally it's a more like, how did you become interested in like marine mammals? And this is like ice cream, that thing that all of us had as children. How did you become interested in it?
Here's the thing. So,
I don't mean to undercut ice cream. But.
No, but all right. So growing up, I loved ice cream. It was my favorite food ever. I always overate ice cream.
Oh.
As a child. And like I would eat ice cream multiple times a day and I would feel sick constantly. And I was just like, whatever, I'm going to keep eating ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in college, I was like, ice cream's bad. No one should have ice cream. Like, I just like cut ice cream out of my diet completely for a very long time and convinced myself like, oh, I feel better if I'm vegan and stuff like that. Just like, so I wouldn't overeat ice cream anymore. We've all eaten like sleeves of Oreos and then we're like, I can't have Oreos in the house anymore.
No,
right.
Ice cream is still my favorite food. It probably has been my whole life.
Me too.
I have a very specific memory of when I was like 10 or 11 sitting. You remember those like giant sacks of fudgesicles that you could get? And it would have like 24 in them. I ate probably 10 in one sitting.
I like the use of the word sack as a form of measurement for ice cream.
Big sack of ice cream.
Listen, I don't come from money. A lot of our food comes in troughs or sacks.
That's true.
That's just life.
Yeah, at church camp, we made a ice cream sundae in a gutter. We tried to make the largest ice cream sundae, and I starved myself all day just so I could eat all that ice cream.
Wait, like, you guys put ice cream into a gutter on the floor?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, it was up on a table, but like we all made a giant sundae. It was a clean gutter. It wasn't like in the house.
Okay, I thought you guys meant like
I'm trying to paint the picture here. I envision it, but
I thought you meant the gutter on the ground next to the street.
no, like a gutter that you put on your house.
Yeah,
but
like
it
a
was
rain
clean,
gutter.
like a rain gutter. Yes, and we tried to make the world's largest ice cream sundae. I was like the only person into it. But anyway,
I would have been so into it.
I
dude.
know. I was like, people were like, "What? You didn't have dinner?" I was like, "No, this is my dinner. This is it. This giant sundae is all I want to eat." Oh my goodness, the mic just attacked me.
That's okay.
It's fine.
Let's start with like maybe ones that people like everyone would know.
We haven't finished Katie's story because she walked away from the Church of Ice Cream.
I'm about to conclude it.
Oh, okay.
Because I ate so much ice cream and I didn't eat ice cream for so long. And then about last year or maybe a year and a half ago, I was like, life's too short to not eat ice cream all the time. Like ice cream's so great. Like why am I not eating ice cream all the time?
Yeah, like
you had
your eat, pray, love moment.
Yeah, I had an eat, pray, love moment with ice cream.
Cool.
I think it was after I went to Japan because I saw like all these crazy cool ice creams. And I was like,
that was where I had some crazy cool ice cream.
Yeah.
Amazing. If you ever are about Sunshine City, which is a mall inside of Tokyo, there's a amusement park within the mall called Namja Town, and within that amusement park is like a small, it was the only place that I encountered it, but it was like a small ice cream shop that had wild flavors like beef tongue and curry and coal and avocado, and they all were really good. My brother and I were like, oh, let's just get a like nice fun little like small sample platter. And
you tried the beef tongue one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm proud of you. That's great.
Yeah, no,
I tried a bone marrow one once. Yeah.
Oh, I imagine bone
They're all
marrow
kinda
probably
good.
pairs really well because like it's like very fatty and oily.
I'm sure that beef tongue is too.
But so we're now going to be sorting ice cream places, some of which are more widespread, and then we're going to narrow it down a little bit to the microcosm that is Los Angeles, but don't worry. That only means that when you come out here, you've got a handful of places that you should check out. So let's start with ones that are more in the public sphere. So let's start with our Baskin Robbins. What can you tell us about Baskin Robbins, Katie?
Oh my goodness. The best flavor at Baskin Robbins that I was always obsessed with was pralines and cream.
Mm-hmm.
What? Like,
pecan praline.
You like the one that's like synonymous with old people?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That one was my favorite. I asked for an ice cream cake made of pecan praline for a birthday party. No one ate it except for me.
That's hilarious.
I was like, fuck you guys. Oh, sorry.
Was it? That's
Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon. Whatever. It was canceled. I'm like, I always try to like censor myself, but I'm like, no, I wrote a song called Pumpkin Tits. Like that's on the internet. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. And like, do you think that the head of Nickelodeon is going to be listening to this podcast and be like, time to listen to my favorite podcast? Oh, one of my actors is on. I hope
she will not be the new host of
She
Blue's
will be singing.
No way.
You mentioned ice cream cakes, and it's strange because I do actually associate Baskin Robbins as like one of the few ice cream places that does ice cream cakes.
Yes, and their ice cream cakes are great because they have actual cake in the ice cream cake, which I think Carvel is really missing the point. You should not just have a cake that is made to look like a cake, but is just ice cream.
Yeah,
like, that's not
like it's
a cake.
fondant and ice cream underneath, basically.
Yeah, that's
or
it.
Like frosting and
but
ice cream.
But you gotta have the cake and the ice cream. That's like the perfect combo. But also, Baskin Robbins had, it was just so good.
Well, it is. I mean, Baskin Robbins also is 31 flavors, which is that like sort of clever stylized of like, oh, there's a 31 in the Baskin Robbins. Like, how clever. What do you know is the deciding factor on when they cycle certain flavors out or in? Because they are limiting themselves to 31 flavors.
Yeah, they could have 50 if they really
wanted. They could, but then they couldn't call themselves 31 flavors. They'd have to just call themselves Baskin Robbins, which would be some serious rebranding that I'm sure some ice cream zealots would be like, you can't do that.
I mean, there's got to be some duds in the bunch.
Oh, for sure.
Out of 31.
I imagine they probably do like an average of like, okay, out of our stores, which flavor's not even getting close to halfway being sold every day, and that's probably when they probably just decide it that way. That's how I would do it. wastage honey. I can tell you some interesting stuff about it.
Yeah.
Baskin Robbins does happen to be, it claims to be the largest ice cream chain in the world.
Oh, okay.
They have about like.
Did you
like 6,000 of
look
them?
that up, Reed?
Oh, that's all Reed does.
It was founded in 1945 by a Baskin and Robbins dude.
That is shocking to me.
And
Very shocking.
You'll probably be surprised to know it was actually founded here in LA County in Glendale. The original one is in Glendale.
Oh shit!
Is it still there? Because they're all gone. Okay.
No, the original one is still there. You can go to it.
What do you mean they're all gone?
Like, there was one right at the corner here, or not the corner here. It was at like Sunset and Gower. There was one. There was one in Los Feliz. That's gone too. Like, they're all gone. What happened?
You're saying this like a conspiracy.
It is a conspiracy. I really think that Baskin Robbins is trying to die.
or somebody's killing it. The Illuminati.
I think the Illuminati was like...
We don't have enough time to spend on a conspiracy theory on our first thing. Are there any other factoids that either of you have? Don't worry. I'm sure that these conspiracy theories will wrap around in a wonderful way.
I have a fact for you.
Sure.
Factoid actually doesn't refer to a small or interesting fact at all.
What does it mean?
It's actually common. It's something else. I just know that it doesn't mean fun fact. Because I just know somebody else pedantic told me that once.
Sure.
Huh.
Let me look it up.
Facts. What are facts?
Are we just moving on to sorting as you're looking up where factoid came from? Okay, apparently yes we are. So based off of this,
it's something that it's the most annoying thing in the world. It's when it's just an idea that gets repeated enough that it becomes fact to everybody. Like you all just assume it's true, but nobody knows.
So it's a commonly assumed truth. Is a factoid.
Which may or may not have any empirical basis.
Wonderful. How do you think we should sort Baskin Robbins?
You are so we are sticking to the format today.
We have a long list, Reed.
I have a question. Is this my water?
Yes, it is your water.
I didn't know it was there. Thank you.
I'm going to say this is probably a Gryffindor.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because it very much... at the time that it was founded, it was all about the idea. It was mirroring very much the ideas of America and individualism coming out of World War II, because they were the ones who actually invented the concept of giving as many free samples as you want.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, Baskin Robbins was.
Yeah, they were the ones that were like, customers should be able to try as many flavors as they want until they want it. And the reason they have 31 flavors, it's one for every day of the month. So a customer
How did I not even think of that?
So what happens in February?
Well, they say 31 so that they can fill every month, but they're not going to necessarily...
Is it a matter actually now that I'm wondering, like, do they reduce the number of flavors based on if it's a 28 day or 29 day or 30 day?
They don't know. They're just saying if a person wanted to, they should be able to have a different flavor.
They should have a different flavor every
day.
day.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Initially, like, I was going to make the assumption that you would say because it's the most, like, widely known brand that it has to be a Slytherin, as is your sometimes leaning towards damning the corporate man.
Anytime something is, like, very obviously manipulating the workers' rights, I will always assume that it's Slytherin. But I don't know. We're doing a lot of chains, so I can't just say Slytherin down the line.
Sure, no, that's true. Although there's also the part of me that might think that this is a Hufflepuff based on the giving nature of like, hey man, come in, like try a thing and experiment. Like feel free to go outside of your comfort zone a little bit.
It is pretty dorky also to be like, imagine if you could have a different ice cream every day.
That's pretty dorky.
Like that would be a Hufflepuff's like biggest wish.
Yeah. We don't necessarily need to land on anything specific. If you, dear listeners, feel that Baskin Robbins is one way or the other, let us know. Moving on, however, we're going to dive into Ben & Jerry's. What can you tell us, Katie, about Ben & Jerry's?
Well, I first went to a Ben & Jerry's scoop shop in Block Island. It's off the coast of Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, I thought it was just like a local,
like a smaller chain.
Yeah. And I think it was, I don't know how big Ben & Jerry's was in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if there is if they were in stores as much as they are now.
I think they were.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think
Ben
they were
and Jerry's,
extra expensive at the time.
Ben and Jerry's, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Reed or Katie, but Ben and Jerry's was founded in New Jersey.
Vermont.
Okay.
Vermont. Yeah.
I'm wrong. By a Ben and a Jerry.
Yeah.
Ben Cohen and a Jerry Greenfield.
Great. And I mean, it's interesting because they seem to have moved from necessarily having a scoop shop to be almost more a grocery store.
Yeah, it's what it's starting to feel like. When I go past a Ben and Jerry's, I'm not excited to go inside. I'm not going to get something different than I would at the grocery store.
And they also are more known, I suppose, for their sort of novelty flavors.
They're really kooky names.
They're celebrity novelty
got
flavors.
Some kooky names like fish food. It's fish.
You've got your Cherry Garcia, your Stephen Colbert, Americone Dream.
Yes. Oh, Ben and Jerry's had a free carnival going on at Hollywood and Vine a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
I think it was in January or February. They had a carousel and swings, and they were handing out free ice cream.
Why would you have an ice cream festival though in winter?
I mean, it's LA.
I understand it's LA, and so our winter is 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
But some days it gets nippy.
It was nice.
Not now.
It was a nice day.
If either of us, Michael, ever went to a place with real weather for more than a week, we would perish.
I was there. I went to Iceland for 2 weeks, and I was fine.
I would perish.
Get on my level, Reed.
Yeah, when I was in London, I was like, oh, this sucks, but I'm in London. You just kind of forget everything else.
It took 2 days to adjust, and then I was like, okay, this is the temperature. My body's okay.
Yeah,
But then the minute that I came back, as soon as I was
acclimated, it's cold
acclimated,
again.
Yeah. The 60-degree nights that are here, I was like, oh, it's so chilly, when that was 20 degrees warmer than anything I got in Iceland. And then there was wind chill also.
Ben and Jerry have an interesting history as ice cream mentors. They were actually childhood friends. And the reason they got into ice cream was both of them after high school. I think one of them went to college, but then didn't get into medical school, and then the other one was just it's the 70s, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
So they dropped out of their schools, and they did correspondence school to learn how to be ice cream makers.
Correspondence school?
Yeah, they got their ice cream making degree through the mail. And the reason why they also did the kooky flavors thing and became the ones who really started this craze of here's some ice cream with some shit in it. Is one of them doesn't have very strong taste buds, and so it's hard for him to taste things. So they started adding large chunks to their ice cream so that he would have something pleasing to the palate because he couldn't taste very well.
Oh,
so that's why they have fish food
chunky.
And everything else that has larger things in it. And then once they started influencing the ice cream market, people started putting shit into theirs too, as they instead of just expecting people to put mix-ins themselves later.
Yeah,
that's wild, and also shifts where I was thinking of initially sorting this.
Another thing to know that I think would be interesting is they are, as far as I know, they're one of the only big ice cream chains that makes political statements ever.
I think, that makes sense.
They're always very, they were the most vehement originally about making sure that the cows that they get their milk from aren't being fed growth hormones, you don't even know what you're drinking kind of milk. And I'm pretty sure they straight up been fuck Trump, he's a Nazi. As far as I could be wrong, I'm probably not that explicit, but they are the only ice cream guys that I follow all the ice cream guys.
Right.
I do like their flavor nuts about Nazis. And then it says fuck Trump underneath.
It's a real coded, just mess of a
Nuts
message.
about Nazis.
It's got coffee. It's got nuts.
It's got a
fudge.
swastika right in the ribbon on the top when you open.
Gooseberry step.
Wow. Gooseberry step.
Jesus Christ, guys.
Gooseberry step.
Talking about, let's sort this. Where do we think it's sorted?
It's hippie ice cream, so what, I don't know, like.
I mean, from the supermarket angle, there's the part of me that thinks like, oh, it's more Slytherin, but I again am now leaning Hufflepuff just based on like the childhood friend angle and like, oh, it's like texture was a result of like wanting to make the friend be able to taste it. That warms my cold Grinch-like heart.
I would probably I would probably give it a Gryffindor for that one because Gryffindors sometimes are portrayed as like underdogs who are like overcoming their circumstances.
I see you.
Harry, was like a chosen one who like was constantly getting killed. Hermione had to break the glass ceiling there at Hogwarts, and Ron had red hair.
Yep.
He's a freaking ginger.
Yep, that's how that all shook out.
Fire crotch.
Yeah, exactly. He had to go to wizard school every day and be called a fire crotch.
Those were the chapters that we didn't get.
In the extended version.
Moving on to carry on the concept of like mix-ins and chunky textures, let's deal with Cold Stone Creamery, which
Cold Stone. You're at Cold Stone. You're a scooper duper family.
What's going on?
From the town of Hollywood. We're here to make your ice cream.
So off mic, it was mentioned that there were songs, and I was like, what? There are songs? So this was one of the songs that
Yes.
Katie, you revealed to us shortly before we started that you worked at Cold Stone Creamery.
I certainly did.
What was that like?
Well, I went to a musical theater conservatory that I hated. Webster University. You guys suck. I just wanted to say you guys are the worst school. I'm sorry. Most people who went there don't even act anymore. So congratulations. You did it. Yeah, I went right after college. I was like super depressed. Like I left halfway through the semester and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to get a job so I'm going to go to a different school. Like screw this. I hate it.
Yeah.
So I went to Cold Stone and I worked there and I felt like I was the oldest person that worked there at the time. Mm-hmm. My managers were younger than me. Mm-hmm. It was very humbling experience.
Yeah. When somebody who you can tell like has maybe never known the touch of a woman is bossing you around all day.
What is the philosophy of Cold Stone? To bring us out of the dark a little bit. Like just for those unfamiliar with Cold Stone, because it's actually like it was at its height about 10 to 15 years ago, I would
absolutely.
say. And now Cold Stone is like, when you see one, you're like, oh, hey, I haven't thought about Cold Stone in ages.
Yeah, me too. And when I see people with it, I'm honestly perplexed. I'm like, you, out of all the ice cream places, you were like, yeah.
So explain just like, when you go to Cold Stone, it's not your usual ice cream fare.
It's not. And you go in and then you pick your ice cream base. The big gimmick was it's made fresh right for you. Like your ice cream is made right in front of your eyes. Like everything's mixed in on a cold stone. So you pick your base. Yeah. And then you can add your flavors. My personal favorite was strawberry shortcake, which was strawberries, pieces of cake, and then and whipped cream mixed in. Ooh. It was really good, and I'm sure it's still amazing. But like, I got so fat from eating that ice cream. Like, I ate it. Like, I would just take it home, and I would eat it, and I would eat it like at any second I got.
Yeah, it is good ice cream. I'll give it. It's just very much like feels like airport food level.
A lot of calories too.
Yeah,
it's a heavier ice cream than I would say either of the two that we've talked about thus far.
The sizes we got. Can we talk about the sizes?
Oh yeah, sure. What are those sizes again?
Like it, love it, gotta have it.
Like those are the sizes designed by a woman who says it's wine o'clock somewhere. You know what I mean?
I also like that. I like that the gauge was like, we don't know what a word is that's higher than love. And you could have just put love at the top, but instead they were like it, love it, gotta have, like,
it's so big. They gotta have it so big. And when someone would order that for themselves, I'd be like, I don't want to give this to this person. Like, I feel like I'm causing their death.
This is just caloric intake overload.
Yeah. It would blow my mind.
This was Cold Stone opened in probably the perfect place for an ice cream store to exist in Arizona. In '88, a couple opened. The Sutherlands opened it.
Really, it opened in '88.
Yeah, it's been around for a little while, and it didn't start franchising until I think the '90s. So it was originally just an Arizona brand place. The thing about Cold Stone that they wanted to set themselves apart was they were like, what I don't really necessarily like hard packed ice cream that you would get like with your traditional cartons at the store, but in Arizona you can't really eat soft serve. You have like 5 seconds.
Exactly.
And so they wanted to split the difference. They wanted to get something in between. It's really hard that you have to wait for it forever to melt, and soft serve, which is impossible to eat in that climate. So they made the butter fat percent between like 12 and 14.
It's very high.
I mean, it's definitely a situation where they took two concepts and were working out all of that. So like in that regard, I kind of feel that it's a Ravenclaw. Like it's really sciencing the heck out of like both the environment and also just taking those two like ideologies and carrying them across.
Yeah, because I feel like that especially the angle of like, there's an angle other people aren't seeing. I'm going to fix this. This is a real nerd move.
Oh, yeah. Like the guy invented the waffle cone. He's like, well, I know what to do.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We'll put these ice creams in the waffle.
We feel comfortable with Ravenclaw? Okay, great.
I feel bad for the dude who invented the waffle cone because he introduced it at the World's Fair and like it was a huge splash.
Was it the World's Fair where H.8 like Holmes was killing people?
I think it might have been that one.
Oh, that's a bummer of a World's Fair.
Yeah, there was a serial killer who had like a murder mansion.
Yeah.
And during the World's Fair, he like killed a bunch of people because
Sorry, I undercut your story, but you were talking about the waffle cone at the World's Fair.
Oh yeah, it was just a dude who was selling waffles, and then he was like, "Oh, if I just like make this into a cone shape, I can also put ice cream in it," because it was like too hot to sell the waffles by themselves.
I see.
Oh,
interesting.
and I don't know his name, and I'm trying to remember if like. It was
He's
like a thing
the
where
Michael Collins of history.
Where it suddenly just became like Ray's Pizza, where someone was like, "That's a good idea. That's mine now."
As your fun little fact, not factoid, for those who are like, "Who's Michael Collins?"
This actually might be a factoid because I can't verify what I'm saying.
Oh,
right
but
now.
Michael Collins was like also on that first that Apollo moon landing, and he was like the guy who didn't walk on the moon or anything like that. Like everybody else got the credit and he didn't.
How mad would you be, Katie, if you got to go all the way to the moon and then everyone else was like, "All right, you stay inside. We're gonna go out real quick. We need someone to stay inside."
I would honestly be okay with it.
You would not fight to be a person who gets to go out on the surface?
You know,
is it your fear of space?
I really am. I do fear it.
Well, why did you go then if you're afraid of space?
I don't know.
Because she knew that she was going to be able to stay inside.
Yeah, they were like, "Go, like you can stay inside." You know, I would go out on the moon.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm the person who should stay inside. Because
you wouldn't go, like if you were given the opportunity to go and walk on the moon, like
you'd go.
Safety was insured.
No, it's scary.
I won't.
Safety's never insured.
I won't even walk out on a ledge if it's too high and I don't feel like I have adequate safety beams.
Well, but that's your like, reasonable
you
fear
fall
of
off
heights.
The moon, you're falling forever, dude.
You don't fall off the. Anyway, Dairy Queen. Let's talk about Dairy Queen.
The one. Shall we?
Yeah, going from like on a slab to like, we're so proud of our thickness of our shakes that we will hold them upside down every time you order one.
That's nuts to me.
That's the Blizzard, right?
Yeah. It's a Blizzard. The Blizzard's so thick that we will turn it upside down for you.
My experience actually with Dairy Queen is very, very limited. So tell me about Dairy Queen.
Well, Dairy Queen is known for their soft serve. I don't think they have any hard ice cream. I think it's just soft serve. And I think they only have vanilla, or do they have chocolate?
They have chocolate and vanilla, and I think you might be able to get hard ice cream, but like in the form of like a bar, like the dilly bar and stuff.
Dilly bars, is that what they're called?
Yeah, so they have a soft serve machine, and then I think they have pre-made ones on sticks and stuff. But I can look this up.
But they also have burgers and hot dogs and stuff. I've never had any of that. Just the ice cream. Never wanted to eat there. Doesn't look very appetizing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an ice cream place and you also are offering burgers, that is definitely going to discourage me from trying the burgers. Where, strangely, I'm always inclined, like at,
Shake Shack,
like a fast food place, yeah, where they're like, we do burgers, and then they're like, also shakes. You're like, oh, okay, I'll have ice cream. Like,
how do you feel about Shake Shack? Because Shake is the first thing in the name.
Sure, I've never had Shake Shack.
Oh, so it's amazing.
So I can't speak on it. But like with Wendy's, and I've spoken very kindly of Wendy's in the past, like their Frosties are top notch.
Absolutely.
Are they like ice cream? It's, who can really say?
There was a rumor
Science
for a while
will
that there was
know.
mayonnaise in it. There's like that rumor floating around.
I don't
a
like that
factoid,
either.
if you will.
I hate mayonnaise, but
So for Dairy Queen, this basically was this franchise came in around the time that the diner and the drive-in stopped being like necessarily the thing that people went to. Like we were starting to see franchises of restaurants and stuff, and so I think this was like 1940 in Illinois. It started being the one that was like competing with like your McDonald's and like White Castles and things that were popping up.
I see.
I do know that like these people, I guess, were just made for ice cream because, like on their first day of sales, apparently, like the first day that they sold ice cream, they sold like 1,600.
So wait,
they had 1,600 customers in their first day.
They didn't start just burgers exclusively, named Dairy Queen, and then moved to ice cream. They like opened and were like, ice cream's our game with burgers is a thing. I think
I know, I'm not sure if they had food the first day, but I do know like the main draw even to this day is still the ice cream.
Sure, okay. I just like based on the historical sort of lead in, I was like, so did they name themselves Dairy Queen and they didn't have ice cream at the start? Because that's bizarre.
Yeah, it is bizarre.
But probably not the case. Do you have a leaning as to where this goes, or do you have more facts?
I don't know. It's like ubiquitous with like the 50s and 60s to me, like small town America. Like this is where teenagers go to like talk shit and and figure out how they're going to get out of their town.
Yeah, it's got a little more kitsch than any of the other places that we've listed so far, like maybe Baskin Robbins and both Ben and Jerry's have like a slight degree of kitsch to them, but Dairy Queen I feel leaned all in on that.
Didn't they have paper hats?
They I think
definitely
they do.
Still wear like
maybe that's why I think
kind of hats.
Yeah.
No, it definitely is one of the last bastions of like fast food franchises that really still leans into the Americana of their origins. Like the only other one I can think of like that are smaller chains like your Tasty Freeze, your Foster's Freeze, or like your A&W root beer, which I think I've only seen like 2 brick and mortar A&Ws in California.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know where I would put this one actually.
Well, it's not a Slytherin, or is it? I don't think so. I also don't necessarily think it's like, I think historically when it first started, it was a Gryffindor. Like, I think at its inception, it might have been a Gryffindor.
Why do you think it's changed?
Because it hasn't remained at the forefront of the ice cream game.
Chocolate dip cones, yo.
Yeah.
And they looked perfect every time. Like, I don't know what they did with the swirl. Like they don't swirl their ice cream like other soft serve places. You'll have to look at a picture because I can't even describe it. It's like 3 balls of ice cream.
It's bonkers.
Have I inadvertently caused us to now start leaning towards Gryffindor?
I'm going to say it's a Gryffindor because to this day, like I said, when you order a Blizzard, like this isn't even something that they will do occasionally. Every time you order a Blizzard, they have to turn it upside down to show you that they're shakes are so thick it won't fall out of the cup. If it falls out of the cup, you don't have to pay for your milkshake.
Yeah, because it's on the counter.
Well, no, they have to make you another one, and you don't pay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that seems like a given.
I love that you were like, why would I pay for something that's ruined?
I'm
like, it happens.
I have limited exposure to Dairy Queen.
Can you imagine like the audacity of Dairy Queen was like, so that will be $3.25. Would you like that back in the cup?
They just shove it into a like plastic bag, like not even the cup. It's just a loose plastic bag that is leaking ice cream.
Yeah, and I think that's you're forcing a teenager to do that against their will over and over again all day.
That's pretty audacious.
So I'd probably put that as a Gryffindor because that's a risk you're taking every time.
That sounds good. Friendlies.
Ooh,
this is the one ice cream place that we are doing that I don't think of the bigger ones that I've never tasted before.
Wow.
I've also never tasted Friendlies.
You guys, Friendlies is a treat. There aren't that many left. I'd love for Reed to look up where the closest one is.
Are they the endangered species of ice cream places?
Absolutely. Like, and they had great food too, like really great diner food.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I think Denny's is such garbage, but Friendlies was so good and had that same vibe. But what really drew me to it as a kid, for the kids' scoops, were a scoop of vanilla ice cream with 2 Reese's Pieces for eyes, a little nose, and then a crown with whipped cream, like a cone with whipped cream, and it looked like a clown. And it was the clown sundae, and all the kids got it for free with their kids' meal.
Oh.
I believe it was a free thing with the kids' meal. I mean, my parents always paid, so I didn't know. But as I grew older, the Reese's Pieces sundae was like the creme de la creme. Peanut butter sauce, chocolate sauce.
What is your
Reese's
current ice cream like shake of choice?
Shake of choice?
Well, I mean, if we're talking just like flavor combinations, you're saying like the Reese's Pieces.
That one's really good, but like I've never had a peanut butter sundae that tasted as good as that sundae.
Gotcha.
I still can't get that same peanut butter marshmallow fluff flavor and that richness. I wonder if I ate Friendlies now, if it would still taste that good to me, or if it's
I'm sure the nostalgia would like hit you in the back of the brain.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Okay, so there's not one in California.
There's not a single Friendlies in California.
This is an East Coast baby.
I think it's an East Coast chain, yeah.
That is why there's little familiarity.
There's only
for both
380 of them too. It's like for
a country as large as ours, that's a pretty paltry number.
Yeah, especially for one that's like supposed to be ubiquitous, but it is in like most of the eastern states. So you're like going to see it in Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Maine, like all of the ones on the coast, and like Southern Carolina. I think the furthest west that it goes is Pennsylvania.
All right, we're going. So west. That's so west.
It's either
Field trip.
that or Virginia. I can't remember which one is more western.
Probably Virginia. I mean, I'm from Virginia. That's where.
This isn't a geography podcast. We're okay.
No, we're talking about ice cream here. But Friendlies was always amazing. They also had really good black raspberry ice cream. I don't know if you're familiar with the black raspberry flavor.
I don't know if I've ever had a black raspberry.
That's a really good
I'd be
flavor.
down to try that.
Yeah, that's very nice. But Friendlies was always great. I ate there with one of my math tutors once. Like we ended up becoming friends. And she that's where she accused me of having an eating disorder, but like I didn't at the time.
Oh,
but
man.
I feel like she kind of gave me one.
Like if you were, I don't think anybody who is not your family or a doctor, if they ever bring up the idea like, I think you have an eating disorder.
I feel like that's where it started, where I was like aware. I was like, what?
Like, do you think it was helpful, or do you think that she like implanted the idea? Because I think if someone brings up, I think you have an eating disorder, they're just trying to make you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah, I was like,
regardless of your weight.
Let me dip this turkey sandwich in ranch dressing. Yeah, I don't know. I think she was just jealous.
No, I think people shouldn't comment on each other's weight for any reason.
I think because I was like 15 and like cool, and she wasn't.
You know what I mean? Got to get back some of her own. No, I just don't think. Don't do that to. Especially
people.
Girls, don't do that to each other.
No, it's not cool.
You are not the enemy.
Friendlies is where This is a dark place. No, I'm kidding. Friendlies is great.
This place is actually this one is even older, I think, than the other ones that we've covered. It opened in 1935, like at the height of the Depression.
Oh,
yeah, and managed to do like fairly well.
With like penny cones or something like that.
I think it was like a 5-cent double cone. Was like their as I'm
too much
over
for me.
And one interesting thing about them is they actually once World War II started, they closed up their entire company until the end of the war.
Oh,
because I know during World War II, like they had to do a lot of rationing. They probably couldn't get the milk reserves to make it, and like butter and stuff, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, there's some interesting just historical like walkthroughs that we just got there as far as like the history of our country and how it affected various corporations. But now
wait, Friendlies also had a ice cream that looked like a watermelon, and it's like a watermelon slice. Look up the Friendlies watermelon slice just so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about, because that's what they were really known for. Besides
Friendlies watermelon slice, like
you won't even believe.
Was it like an ice cream cake that looked
like a watermelon? And it had chocolate chips in it. It was like sorbet.
Ooh.
Had chocolate chips in it for the seeds.
Oh,
are you looking at
it? It very much looks like something that would be like a Japanese novelty ice cream. It's in the shape of a watermelon that's been cleaved in two, and it's got
so good.
It is a watermelon lemon sorbet. I want to try this.
I'm ruined.
No, it was the best.
I think this is a Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
It's
now that I've shown you that.
It's small and modest, and like, it's in what I'm sorry if this is insulting at all, but I always like just think of the older states as like being quainter.
Oh, they definitely are.
Like, because you just
I miss Virginia. Like I walk around here, I'm like, this is garbage.
Everything in California was built like 70 years ago and out of stucco.
Also,
it's like so Art Deco weird.
Let us not. I mean, we should have just known the tip off when its name is called Friendlies that it was a Hufflepuff. Like if anybody was going to be the Hufflepuff of all of this list,
the only thing that could make it more on the nose is Dorkies.
Sure,
which I think is a great name for a restaurant.
That's a good restaurant.
Speaking of exceptional name, Thrifty Ice Cream.
Now this is actually a tale of woe.
Oh no! Here we go. Like the Zanku chicken murders.
No. It's just in the fact that a lot of people don't know that Thrifty brand ice cream used to just be part of a chain of drugstores called Thrifties.
What do you mean? Didn't like anybody born in like the mid '80s would know this?
Well, there are people who were born after the mid '80s.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Here's the deal. I talk about Thrifties with my parents, and they have Rite Aids over in Virginia. But there ain't no Thrifties inside those Rite Aids.
Wait.
Because Rite Aid absorbed them
I know.
all.
Rite Aid absorbed them and then was like, but don't worry, the ice cream counters will still remain. And I remember as a kid being just thrown for such a loop when I was like,
we don't have the ice cream. We don't have the ice cream counters in Virginia.
I feel so
threatened.
Sorry for you.
Yeah.
You poor individual.
No, my parents are very, like, I explained to them what thrifty ice cream is. They're like, what? I don't get it. It's
actually a Southwest and Mexico exclusive.
Really?
As far as I know, it's like them selling like the ice cream in the Rite Aids.
Rite Aid in Virginia is just like a shittier version of CVS.
I will say, my memories of thrifty ice cream was like, that was almost exclusively what I got as a kid. Like, it wasn't Baskin Robbins, it wasn't Ben and Jerry's, it wasn't any of that. It was going to Thrifty and getting like a single scoop of whatever was there. Also, as a young child, I don't know why the hell I did this, but I would bite out the bottom of the cone and then basically be like racing myself to finish the ice cream before it dropped out the bottom. And I know that was a thing that drove my mother a little crazy. And this was like, you know,
I always loved sucking it out of the bottom of the cone.
Like 2 or 3 year old Michael started doing this whenever I was like allowed to.
Sounds very annoying.
Start having ice cream. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it was.
Funny though.
But and then more recently, I say more recently, like when I was in high school,
last year
was I was like, I haven't had thrifty ice cream in a while. And this was right about at the point that Rite Aid was like buying them up, and had some and like got a scoop that had like a very noticeable sort of chunk of butter in it. And that was enough for me to be like, I don't know. Or it was like coagulated.
Oh, like butterfat.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Not just like, oh, and here's like a slab of butter, but like yeah. And I just was like, oh no. And for me, it just takes, as Reed can attest to my now complete avoidance of Subway, it just takes one bad experience and suddenly you're on the like Michael do not eat list.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like I went to Sweet Green and I almost broke my tooth on a bone from a chicken, like in there. But like that experience, I'm like, I don't know if I want to eat a salad from there again, even though I like Sweet Green so much.
And it really shouldn't be that way because we put up with so much other bullshit in our day-to-day life.
Yeah, and I'm just like, ugh.
And we're like, yeah, I'll give that another chance. You know, like with our internet service providers that we're locked into just forever
like,
dealing
that
with.
hurt my tooth.
Spectrum, you guys suck. Let's put that one out there.
So this one is actually even older than the other ones. We're somehow going back in time on accident.
I like that.
So this one, Thrifty, started as a chain or as pharmacy. So in 1919.
Okay. Solid year.
Also, we accidentally did another Los Angeles origin one.
Oh.
And
it just seems that the sunny, warm places really just draw the idea of ice cream
Weird.
chains. Yeah, it's like the heat encourages you to go and strive for something cold.
The tastier ones are over on the East Coast for some reason.
Yeah, because they originally started as like a wholesale pharmacy, and then in like a few years later, they're like, oh, we can just open our pharmacies too. The first Thrifty pharmacy that was like a soda fountain, and that's where the ice cream started. It was like pharmacies would usually be a soda fountain.
Right.
And that's why you would always see people going into a pharmacy and then also be like, can I have an ice cream soda? In like 50s movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This
and an aspirin.
Yeah, this one was, I can tell you exactly where this one, it's Wilshire and Western. So if you know where that is in California, you can pinpoint exactly where the original Thrifty ice cream was sold.
On a field trip, like, and it's right a hop, skip, and a jump away from where we currently are.
And all I know is, as far as like a factoid, is I think I remember it being featured in the Judy Garland comeback film A Star Is Born.
Oh wow!
You just saw a Thrifty a sign. I just remember like, oh yeah, I wonder.
So there wasn't like a notable scene.
I'm sorry.
It just like you remember in Reed's history of.
You see a sign in the movie that says Thrifty. I'm not good at this, you guys.
Man, guys, I can't wait to talk about when we're sorting diners about how in The Santa Claus, Denny's is prominently featured.
It is.
But today, I think it's the only, and someone can write in or whatever if this exists somewhere else. Like, do they really sell ice cream scoops in other pharmacies anymore?
I don't think so.
No, they don't even sell cigarettes at CVS anymore.
Right. So I feel like this is like kind of like, unless somebody can write in and let us know.
It's like, a bit of a time capsule from a bygone era.
Yeah, but kind
Friday
of.
It's just a place that has everything now.
Yeah, it's like one of a kind, which I think is interesting. And they have like their own like ubiquitous flavors that people become fans of. Chocolate Malted Crunch is the one that comes to mind.
So good.
Yeah.
Their mint chip was also exceptional.
Exception. They have a one that has the frosted animal cookies in it.
Oh man, yeah. They would have like really good stuff.
Birthday cake was
but
good.
It was always something that like the average American family would have a palate for. You're not going to get anything like the
crazy,
the pate or whatever.
I would like to just step back for a moment and talk about this mint chip.
Yeah.
Oh, is this your favorite?
Well, yes. But it's interesting to me because how do you like your chips in a chocolate chip ice cream or a mint chip ice cream? Because for me, the thing that was unique about Thrifty is it's like shredded.
Mm-hmm. It's shaved.
Yeah.
Like little shavings, which makes it so good. Like any kind of chocolate chip ice cream that has shavings like that, like very good because it just melts in with the mint really fast.
I agree, and here's why. And I know this will be shots fired at Ben and Jerry's, but I think large chunks of chocolate or fudge are a mistake in ice cream.
Huge mistake
because it
overwhelms the base flavor.
Well,
and they get too hard. It's just like
that's the melting point is much different. So yeah, it's going to be a lot harder and cold a lot longer than the ice cream. And so like especially if you have like sensitive teeth, you're dealing with cold and also like biting into hard things.
Right. It's super chilled.
And have the chocolate melt on your tongue when you lick it. You don't you don't want to have to.
Yeah,
I agree.
I will never be a large chunk apologist, and I think people need to stop.
Also, like their scoops. Their scoops are like.
Oh yeah, the thrifty scoop is not actual scoop. It's more of a cylinder.
You're not getting like
they have a mound.
The half cup sort of like it looks like a palm is the one that most people are used to. This one is a cylinder that looks like it's used in a metal shop, a metalwork shop.
This is straight out of like a. It feels like it's a time capsule. Like this is what the actual ice cream scoop was originally conceived
and I like
as.
It was around the time that people were like, how can we make everything as uniform as possible and make everything as fast as possible to do? So it's exactly the exact size. So they're not accidentally giving you extra, but it is a generous portion, and they dunk it into hot water.
Oh yeah.
And then they punch it into the ice cream.
Yeah. They're just like
and then it just rises out really easily and they plop it on the cone.
I'm gonna have to go to Thrifty after this. I really am.
I think we should go to a tour of all the ice cream
There's
places.
literally a Rite Aid right near my house, so it is going to take a lot to distract me from doing this shortly after the recording.
Can we also go to In-N-Out?
Honestly, everybody, even if you're listening, let's all go get some food after this.
We should all get some, all of us. Everyone should eat.
I mean, just for the feels that this is giving me, I want to say it's a Hufflepuff.
I think any of the cuter places is gonna.
But it could be argued as a Ravenclaw.
I just want to kiss all of you.
It could be argued as a Ravenclaw based on its like, hey, we're trying to like do a lot in a single, a single location.
And also, it's like the idea of like who would be buying this ice cream too. Very Ravenclaw move to be like, well, I need to go pick up my my medications. So if you would like to come and get a scoop of ice cream, you must go to the pharmacy with me.
Right.
Oh,
how very pragmatic and practical.
Here we go. The Rite Aid at Sunset and Gower, there's a guy that goes there at like 4:30 p.m. every day, and I only know because I went in at 4:30 accidentally, and he was there, and he's like, 4:30 every day, I get my scoops. I'm like, what do you usually get? And he's like, anything that just like catches my eye that day. And he got like 5 scoops and he just walked out eating it. And I was just like, this guy had to have been an alcoholic or he had to have had some serious addiction issues.
Maybe he's just a man who likes his scoops.
I'm just going to put that all into ice cream.
Now it's ice cream.
He just likes his scoops, man.
That dude rules. That dude, you just saw me in the future.
No, he was great. He was like, he wasn't even that old too. That's why I was like, whoa, this guy knows what's up.
So we're nearing the end, but I want to lightning through some of your favorite picks in the Los Angeles area.
We're going,
and then we're going to sort them.
This is the equivalent of like microbrew.
Yeah.
I've been for beers because I feel like it's become like a trend to now open up like boutique ice cream places.
They've been pretty fancy.
So we're going to start with one that actually is not LA specific. It's also in like the Pacific Northwest, I believe, as well.
Portland.
Maybe Portland, but in Oregon specifically.
Yeah, with Salt and Straw.
Yeah. Salt and Straw, what I love about Salt and Straw is that they have new flavors every month, and that's why I go.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they have the same flavors that you get excited about. Like they had, for March, they have Pots of Golden Rainbows, which is they pick all the marshmallows out of the
Lucky Charms.
Then they make a base of the ice cream using the Lucky Charms cereal and cereal milk. So you have a cereal milk with the marshmallows.
Ugh.
It's perfect. It's perfection. The best. So yeah, that's a great thing about Salt and Straw. Just new flavors every month.
They do new flavors every month that you can get on their mailing list, so they'll like alert you to when there's a certain like that lavender and honey that you loved is back.
Crazy
and they
ice cream.
Also do like literal silver spoons that you sample the ice cream in, which is
so good. And you can sample as many as you want.
Yes.
And the turkey and gravy ice cream is so good. And you will hate yourself for liking it.
I did have that, and it was quite remarkable. There are several like savory flavors that you assume should not feasibly work, but as as we've discussed, like having
loaded baked potato was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I said, fuck you. I looked at them and I was like, this is good. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Why did you make this?
And they said, because we're the devil. Katie.
Yeah.
The devil.
In their flagship stores, they have, because the thing about Salt and Straw also that they do on top of like crazy novelty stuff is they are very dedicated to making sure that they have good relationships with local food suppliers and restaurants and stuff, because they are always trying to really
get stuff from there. Yeah.
Yeah, they always want to like they want to show off like how beautiful the food is in the respective states that they're in.
Yeah.
So where are you feeling that Salt and Straw is sorted? Because I feel that arguments can be made for all houses.
I'll give you pretty nuts.
I'll give you more context. So the founder, I think her name is Kim. I think it's a woman. She moved to Portland, and she was always just like, I'd really like to open an ice cream store. And
I feel like that's where I'm gonna be headed.
Yeah, and like right around the time she was doing it, she just coincidentally found out that her cousin or something got his business degree, and she was like, and that he was moving to Portland also, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to maybe open up a business together?" And he was like, "Hell yes!" And he it's like the most Portland vibe ever, where like she was like, "Whatever, man," and then he was like, "Let's get this done." So like it just like rose up really.
It
quickly,
coalesced very, yeah.
And she really put everything online. I'm pretty sure like she cashed in all of her like retirement and stuff like that in order to do it.
That's a big dream.
Yeah, and
that's a product you believe in.
Yeah, and I really love their ice cream. I'm especially partial to olive oil. Their olive oil flavor in Portland, you can't get it here.
Oh, you can't? I love olive oil ice cream. I've actually had it at other places.
They had a different one here, but they mixed it with something. But up there, it's just like extra virgin olive oil ice cream by itself is one of the best flavors I've ever had.
I bet if you put some sea salt on the top, just
for the visual component of what just happened, Reed just leaned back in their seat with their eyes
like I came.
rolled back. Yes, yeah. I was trying to not just be like, it was like Reed just came. But
I know I was thinking that too.
That's the only time anyone will ever see what it looks like.
Of
me having physical pleasure.
Oh no!
All right.
Yeah, because the olive oil ice cream I think also exemplifies what they're trying to do. It's a beautiful texture of butterfat, like
you really taste the flavors.
Yeah, and they and like really well balanced. The nuttiness and then like a light vanilla flavor is the best thing I can compare it to.
So you're feeling that this is I
would say overall that this one is probably also a Hufflepuff.
Oh.
But like a wacky Hufflepuff who like, you're like, I'll make you dessert. And then they serve you like a cake with a cheeseburger on top of it.
They had one with bugs in it. And I was like,
I was thinking perhaps that this one would be a Ravenclaw based on the way that they are making such unique flavor combinations. And so they have to really science the shit out of it to get it to work.
Maybe.
And there's the Gryffindor argument because they're being bold, they're being brash. Also, the history of what led to the very creation of Salt and Straw is one that is gung-ho and a bit reckless, but had, man, what a payout.
So good.
I think I agree with you there. Oh, one caveat, if you haven't tried it, and for the other ones we're going to cover, this is where the price point for the ice cream probably gets ridiculous for some people.
Which would be why you might argue Slytherin.
Some people are like, I don't care. I'll eat $2 ice cream. And, some people like their...
Is this one you're probably going to pay like $5 or $6? Yeah. I think that like a pint of ice cream there is $11.
It's on the pricier side, but
$5.60 for a double split scoop.
But I think that would that might even go into the Ravenclaw of them saying like, we know what our product's worth.
Right.
You're paying.
And the argumentation is that you are allowed unlimited tries of things. So they're looking to ensure like you're getting what you want.
And you get big scoop, big taste with that.
I think
we're really defending Salt and Straw.
I think this is a
now.
Slytherin.
Like, it's expensive, but you don't get it.
This is either a Slytherin with very Ravenclaw leanings or a Ravenclaw with Slytherin exclusivity leanings. But I think the fact that they try to help out the community puts the
right. I think that makes it more Ravenclaw.
Yeah,
like I'd lean Ravenclaw or Gryffindor more so, but it's fine. Jumping onto Wonderlust, which is exclusively an LA-based ice creamery.
Is that Wonder or Wanderlust?
Wanderlust.
Sorry. Wanderlust.
And you could probably look up all their flavors right now. It always changes, but what they're really into ice creams from around the world.
Oh.
So different flavors from different countries, different cities. They had one this past month that was called a Breakfast at Cafe du Monde.
Ooh.
And it was coffee ice cream that had like beignets in it. And they have one that's chocolate tobacco right now.
That's amazing.
They have ube malted crunch. They have sakura, which is like a Japanese rose blossom or whatever. And they have or cherry blossom, and
cherry blossom, yeah,
and an ube cone and a brown butter waffle cone. And I highly recommend you get it in either one of those cones. But if you want like something real out of the box and want to try stuff from different places like Wanderlust, it just looks pretty. It photographs well. I mean, what can I say?
So if you're looking for an ice cream to Instagram, check out Wanderlust.
No, it's delicious too. Like
I think there are like 4 or 5 locations max around like the Los Angeles and then like adjacent Los Angeles area.
It just makes you go. Like they had one that it was like Singapore street crepe or Indonesian street crepe, and it just was like all these rainbow. Like
so, if you're looking for an international tour, but in a creamy and cool,
their slogan is a destination in every scoop.
That's needlessly charming.
They do use one of my my food pet peeves. They say artisanal, which is starting to like I understand, guys, but it's starting to get annoying because artisanal just means we're gonna charge more, and like usually I can't really like tell like.
Price point there is not too bad, especially for that waffle cone.
Yeah,
actually, because it is an Atwater, so. Their rent's probably not as high, and they probably started when the rent wasn't super crazy.
Atwater is a smaller, like I guess suburb or like I don't know neighborhood. We just call them neighborhoods, right?
I think it's less expensive than Salt and Straw, and you get more ice cream.
Oh yeah, so you can Atwater Village if you ever come visit, it's like gonna be like south of Glendale, but before you start getting
literally just if you Google it, you can find it.
I'm good. I can be their Google Maps.
If
I could be the next TomTom.
You can find it.
So where are we sorting this? I mean, I think that it's either a Ravenclaw or a Gryffindor. Again, based on like I feel like the World Traveler side is going to be more.
I'm going to sound really petty right now, but this ice cream store, and I will say I'll go and try it. I haven't tried it. I'll go and try it. And I'm sure it's going to be delicious. But it's it feels like the ice cream equivalent of, that Instagram trend where it's the back of a woman's head and then she has her hand out and then you see the person who's taking the photo's hand and let's go, come away with me. And like,
oh, so you think this is a Slytherin.
And you're just jealous of them for being rich and beautiful. Yeah. and I would be the equivalent of thrifty ice cream, just being like, okay.
Sometimes you do want just a normal flavor and you're like, well, fuck
so you think there's an exclusivity angle here?
Part of it does kind of seem like, all right, we know that you poros are never going to be able to go to these countries. So we are going to give you the charity of bringing Singapore to you.
We're gonna have you taste Japan.
I think that's a little bit of projection.
I'm not projecting my class consciousness and my bitterness on anything.
That's never happened.
Also, there's ample parking there. It's very nice.
All right, that alone is actually very nice.
Is the parking something that you have to pay for?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
and it's quite nice. The one peeve, though, there's no bathroom inside. So you have to go to Dunkin' Donuts.
I don't necessarily strive to urinate where I get ice cream.
Really? Like any place that has food, I feel like there should be a bathroom. If you want to stay there.
This might be a factoid, but I'm pretty sure it is the law that if you serve any kind of food, you have to allow customers to use the bathroom. And I think they don't even have to be customers. I think if you serve food in a place, you are legally required.
You're obligated to allow at least California. A patron to use the restroom in whatever your establishment is.
I think it should be required. I think the only reason that
it's like, why can't I use it?
The real reason is they just don't want homeless people to be in their store.
My grandmother always had a rule whenever she would go to restaurants to go to the restroom first, and then based on the restroom,
are cleaning their hands.
Well, based on the restroom, just being like, if they don't have the restroom clean, I can't imagine what the kitchen is like.
Because I can't see the kitchen.
Yeah,
see.
I may have told this already on the pod, but it's fine. You get the story twice.
Bathrooms are really bad where I work, where I'm not going to say, but I'm
like Nickelodeon.
At Nickelodeon.
Nick Studios has a gas station bathroom in the middle of nowhere.
And I'm there every day.
So
it's bad because of you. You wreck those
hang
toilets.
Out at Nick.
Whether or not we've officially declared this a Slytherin, we're moving on to Coca Creamery, which is another LA exclusive place.
Yeah, it showed up recently. It hasn't even been open a year, I think. It's at Fountain and Vine near Doomy's, and they Doomy's is a vegan it's like vegan soul food restaurant.
It's like for people who want vegan junk food. Yeah.
Ooh.
You can get
they have a vegan
Big Mac.
Real good stuff. But Coca Creamery, they have 3 different bases for their ice cream. They have no nuts in any of their ice cream, which is great, and all their things are gluten free.
So they're looking out on a lot of dietary
levels.
They're
like, we're going to serve everybody who's not getting served ice cream anywhere else, basically.
Yeah, but also it's fucking good. Like, I will eat ice cream there just because I'm craving it. Like, they have a sun butter cup ice cream, which is like peanut butter cup, but with the sunflower butter, which gives you the same kind, like it's a sunflower butter base with the chocolate mixed in. It's so good. Then they have one that's called Unicorn Magic, which is pink ice cream with sprinkles and like
so again, leaning cookies. A little bit towards the Instagram ability of
yes, but also they have the mint chocolate chip. They have the regular, like all the flavors that you're interested in. And then sundaes, very good. Gluten-free waffle cones, very good. It's all just very good. But yeah, you can Instagram in there. It's very pink and cute. And
yeah, it's like it was started by 2 people named Alice and Belinda, and they and basically what I'm getting
Alice and Belinda. That's so cute.
Yeah, no, it's very I from what I can tell, because there's not as much info, because you said it's like a one-off and it's newer. It seems like it's just like. We want people with allergies should be able to enjoy dessert. And there has been like, here is my controversial opinion, especially since I am not a sufferer of celiacs. But I do understand it's annoying for people to pretend that they have it just because they think that like gluten is what is making them fat or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's not that's not how intolerance works. But I will say now people can get a lot more gluten-free stuff everywhere. And I think that overall makes it a win. Because I used to know a person who could barely ever eat out anywhere. And now he doesn't have any issues.
Well, also, if you take into consideration that so many people don't actively go to the doctors, so they aren't getting diagnosed for it, then they aren't even aware that they have a condition. So if just more places are like, this is gluten-free, and you're like, wow, I don't feel bad when I eat this, but you aren't even like consciously linking those things together.
Yeah.
Does anybody else like go at least a full week when like there is something that ends up you have to go to the doctor for that you're just like, I can self-diagnose this. I can't afford this.
I've eaten too much ice cream.
Well, I mean, when I was traveling in Iceland, my diet changed quite a bit, and I felt better, and as a slight TMI, I was less gassy the whole time. And so then when I came back, I was like, what was it that I wasn't or was eating?
It's because everything's processed here, and everything. Like anytime I go overseas or anywhere, like the food's always
like. What was
less
an
processed.
average day of food for you in Iceland?
Well, I also was
fish from the water.
That was
the crazy thing. Was
oh no, wait, is it Bjork? Isn't she from Iceland?
She is. The crazy thing when I was in Iceland,
it's Icelandic.
Everybody,
Bjork is here.
It's a terrible Bjork.
It's a terrible Bjork. And also, when I was in Iceland, I really couldn't place like a clear Icelandic accent because
so it sounded like these.
When I was talking in Reykjavik, the tour guide was talking about how Icelandic people all roll their R's, but everywhere else and anyone else I encountered with wasn't rolling their R's in such a pronounced fashion. So I was like, maybe everybody has these regional accents that I'm just having trouble like finding what the middle ground is. But when I was there, because everything in Iceland is crazy expensive, it's like
that's what I heard.
It's about $20 American for a meal when you break that down. So, and also their gas is insane. And I drove the ring road. It's like $80 to tank up.
So it's cheap because I know a lot of
cheap
people
to travel.
That's how they get here.
It's cheap to travel, and like activities are relatively inexpensive, but food and gas is insane. But
it's like $20 to eat a meal here, though.
You have to think about it. The reason why it might be, besides like just general economy, we have different exchange rates. They're further up on the equator. So like Alaska, they are going to have a tougher time getting access to fresh produce and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's so what I ended up doing was I went to the bonus discount store, bought about $70 worth of food, and so it was just like eggs that I hard boiled, some bread, some peanut butter, some bananas, some oats, pasta, and then just had that all in my car, which would act as a refrigerator as I was driving around. And so I was eating like a more bare bones thing. So maybe it's just
I think you're right, Katie. I think you're just eating clean.
It's just or maybe it's the fact that I was eating fewer veggies and fruits and less meat. Like that could have also contributed.
In Japan, there really wasn't a lot of vegetables either. Like, it's weird
because like don't they have like novelty fruits you can buy that are super expensive, like the square watermelons and stuff?
Oh, maybe.
Yes, they do.
And there's a kind of peach that's like very expensive to the point that like why would I eat it for that much?
Stupid.
Yeah, but did we sort Coca Bella?
No, but I mean I don't even know Harry Potter that well, but I'd say it's a Hufflepuff because they seem like little babies.
It's like a Hufflepuff or a Ravenclaw probably.
And also, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and Hufflepuffs are definitely not everyone's cup of tea, especially Harry Potter fans for some reason. That's the house everyone shits on.
Everyone's like, no. And I know that, and I'm like, not just because people talk about it.
And I know there are probably listeners out here who think it's sacrilegious and are calling us the most. They're like, of course, they're Californians. They're going to think
they're not. That's what
freaking vegan ice cream is worth it. But from what I can tell, and I still have to go try it, it's different, you guys. It looks like it's like really high quality.
So let's close out with Little Damage.
Slytherin.
Okay. Well, tell me about Little Damage because I've never heard of this place.
They have lines out the door, especially when they first started, but I think they were the first ice cream place. You can probably correct me if I'm wrong on there. First ice cream place to have charcoal ice cream in LA?
Yeah.
Charcoal soft serve, but it's like got a different flavor. They change up the flavor, but it is black like charcoal.
Mm-hmm. It like you look at it and it's just like doesn't look like something you should be putting in your mouth. It's like
it just looks
dark,
cool.
dark.
It's for Instagram,
and their cone is also black, right?
Yeah, you can get a black cone as well.
Oh, okay. I mean, when I was in Japan, I had charcoal ice cream, and it was actually quite good.
Yeah, I mean, you can add any flavor. The black just makes it. It just makes it black.
For whatever reason, we, at least here in California, in Southern California, we've been having like an upspike in the trend of like foods from Asia, like not just Japan, but also Korean foods, like snack foods have become more popular. Not even here. I was just reading at Walt Disney World. They just opened the Avatar place. And then one of their drinks that they have, they make it seem like it's going to be like, it's like from the Avatar world, but it's just like something, it's like a slushy drink with boba in it.
Like a sweet boba.
How wild and exotic.
But back to Little Damage. I think this is a place, and I'll say it, Little Damage, even if your ice cream is good, you're just chasing trends.
Yeah, they have a photo booth there. Like it's really not that good. Also, I'm gonna go to a completely different chart. There's so many charcoal ice cream places I like to talk about a few. There's one that just opened up in Little Tokyo called Bae, BAE. Their activated charcoal ice cream is a sorbet.
Ooh.
So if you want a non-dairy option, there's that. They also have I got a matcha cone. That was pretty cool. Matcha waffle cone. And then they have like bright blue ice cream that tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which is crazy.
That's at Bay.
Yeah. So if you want something that looks really cool, also you can get gold flakes on the ice cream. It's real crazy.
I mean, I'm just intrigued by a matcha cone because that's going to have that's going to be a real fun balancing act as far as your flavors are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And flavor, I'm like, there are other restaurants like this around LA, and I'm going to sound really fucking like hipsterish and stupid. Like, this is probably one of my most Slytherin opinions myself, but I think this is a Slytherin thing. These are restaurants that are designed for people to be seen at. It's 100%. Like, the flavor sometimes is the last thing, and also sometimes safety. Because you want to know something about activated charcoal?
It's not that good for you.
It's not good for you. It can actually make your medications not work.
Ooh.
Because activated charcoal is what they give you when you're
it
overdosing.
Detoxes everything.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
So if you're on birth control and you eat enough activated charcoal, your birth control won't work. They don't tell you this.
So be aware before you decide to ingest minerals.
And if you walk into a restaurant that has multiple walls dedicated to being a backdrop for an Instagram, maybe know that their first priority is not making you the top quality food.
Well, unless it's Coca-Bella, because it is high quality.
Yeah.
And delicious.
I'm just mad that I once saw somebody order food, take a photo with it,
throw it away,
and they didn't eat any of it.
They do that all the time there. It's really frustrating.
It makes me so mad.
It's the worst. But you want to know who's not the worst? It's Katie Molinaro. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We sorted out 10 different ice cream places and got a few different other recommendations throughout. So if people want to be following you for ice cream related recommendations, where on the internet might they want to do that?
Follow Ice Cream for Therapy, and I'm going to start posting in there more, I think. It's just, I want to get a good camera so I can be up to snuff with all the other ice cream places.
I'll say the composition on your shots though is really good.
Thank you.
So that's Ice Cream for Therapy on Instagram. Do you happen to have a Twitter, Katie?
Yes, it's Get Katie Mode, GetKatieMoed.
Mm-hmm.
Get Katie Mode. Get Katie Mode.
I would say you should. Like, Katie is one of my favorite live sketch actors in Los Angeles.
Oh, thank you.
Mostly at a Pack Theater. Because you're on Haymaker?
Haymaker, yeah, third Wednesday of the month.
And then do you perform live anywhere else around? I know you do stand-up sometimes.
Yeah, I do stand-up around town. UCB, I do some bit shows there, but mostly I'm over at the Pack.
Yeah, I would say if you want to
high-five either of us. TV more. I'm just kidding.
If you'd like to be following either Reed or myself, you can follow us at That Dang Dingus and Belated Media. You can follow our podcast, sortinghat_pod, on Twitter as we kick out fun polls. This week we've been dealing with the hand and all the fingers and things like that. You guys have had very vocal opinions on that, and we always appreciate.
It gets really weird.
We always appreciate when you make your argumentation known in the replies.
Yeah, fight me.
So with that, thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the Sorting Hat Podcast. And with that, let's go get some ice cream.
Yeah, it's too hot.
Yes, it is. It's too hot for real food.
Bye.